Hi, this is Hart, and I just finished making this card, which inspired me to make this card, and I'm going to do a quick tutorial on how I created this one. So first I cut a 12 by 12 piece of paper that had this beautiful background of these ladies, and then I carefully tore the ladies out in an angle that I thought would make a good angle. Can't even think of what you'd call that. A good design. So I basically tore just above their heads to give some movement on the card. And also this is a card base with a beautiful gold, and I didn't want to lose the gold hidden in the background. So I inked the edges on the ladies, so I didn't want too much grunge because they're so clean. So all I did was tilted the ink pad for the bottom and then just brushed a tiny bit of ink on the top. I'm making sure that I'm comfortable with how it sets on the page before I decide to apply it, and whether or not I want it to be above or below a strip of paper that I'm choosing to put on. Like I said, the last card inspired me to make this one, but I usually don't make two cards the same. So I just used my trusty glue stick to attach this to the card base. And again, I'm checking to make sure I'm comfortable with it on this strip of paper, which is just a cutoff from the 12 by 12 scrapbook paper. It had the dots there. I thought I can reuse that. That's why you see the hole there at the end. So out of the 12 by 12 paper, there's very little scrap left when I'm done with it. And I do enjoy mixing scrapbook paper with cardstock, with my scraps, obviously. And then I also enjoy mixing in some magazine pages, which you'll see that here in a bit. So I fussy cut the lady because whenever I have a very busy background like that, I want one of them to stand out. And each one of the ladies is in a slightly different pose, so I had to decide which one she was and where she would look best. To make sure she stands out a bit, I ink her a little bit heavier than I did the rest of the page. And I added double-sided foam stick tape to the back. So she only pops up about 1/4 of an inch, but it's enough to make her stand out. Now what I have here are some three-dimensional jewels. They came in a circle, but I didn't really want to use them in a circle. And these are half back that are already, they already have adhesive attached to them. So that adhesive, they strung underneath them, and I didn't like the look of that, so I'm just fussy cutting the adhesive off before applying it to the page. Okay, so I have a little teeny flower that is over on the right. I decided to move it to the left. And then I also have a magazine cutout of a flower where I used a circle punch that's 1 inch in diameter, giving me the ability to wrap that flower around her without having to cut it. And so I'm testing to see if the other flowers from another magazine page lay enough to cover up the whole punch, or the circle punch that I took out of the larger flower. So this is a type of glue that I'm applying. It's the first time I've used this glue stick is this month. So I've been messing around with it on different projects, and it's the first time applying it to a magazine page. Seems to work pretty well, nice and smooth, doesn't move around too much, and stuck pretty quickly. But no review on it yet. We'll see how that goes. Normally I would just use my handy dandy glue stick, but that's the two-way glue it says. I don't know why it's two ways, but it does allow you to get into smaller areas nicely. Now I'm happy with the placement of the magazine pages around the girl, and I'm going to use my Deco color pen, which you are going to see me fussy bucket with this pen a little bit. And it is what it is. I'm trying to pull it out by dabbing the flowers, because why waste the ink, or why waste the paint? And so I do get little bits of silver in the flowers, and I get little bits of silver next to the halfback, I don't even know what to call those, the little pop-up bead things. So all I'm doing here is just using the silver underneath this black paper that has the white polka dots to highlight underneath it and bring a little more silver. But I'm noticing that when I shake it over the paper, oops, I got some silver on it, but let's just go with that. It's a happy accident, because I like how it's a little bit random on where the silver plopped around the girl and around the flower. Couldn't have been more perfect in where those little plops put themselves. And I really appreciate you watching this process. I like the use of the magazine images with the scrapbook paper to create a completely unique card each and every time, and it does inspire you to create them a little bit differently. So I'm just embellishing the flower a little now that my pen is working properly, and I consider this done. Again, thank you for watching. This is a close-up of the card I just made, and I'll show you a close-up of the card that I made just prior to it. Take care.